Hello again. I want to talk about something real quick. Something else I just thought about. It's nothing that I'm really watching. It's just I'm thinking about stuff that I've heard people say, but I'm not really I'm not uploading this based on a specific person. It's just something that I just thought about. I want to talk about how people say because something that media chooses to do, something that Hollywood chooses to do. This is how people give away their power. And when people like to give away too much power like that, even for myself, I can no longer get to the point where I'm saying they're wrong about it, right? Because, we have all just continuously given away our power. So because Hollywood choose to push something on media, or even BET choose or the so-called black celebrities or black entertainment or whatever, black Hollywood. Of course, we know there's other people who sit on high in that industry dictate what a lot of so-called black celebrities do, right? So we know that for the most part, a lot of so-called black celebrities are puppets. But then I want to say this. I don't even, by calling them puppets, I'm giving them a pass because I'm not admitting that they're just plain evil, okay? I'm getting to the point where I uploaded a video before talking about expecting people to have the same morals and values that you have. To me, this is along those lines because constantly wanting to call people puppets, even though I do realize they are puppets. But my point is constantly wanting to call them puppets, make it seem like they, at some point in their life, they didn't make a conscious decision to do what they do at some point in their life. So I can't call them puppets, even though they are being used. They probably taking checks, or they probably could have been taken over by now because it's 2022. And a lot of those celebrities, from what it seemed like when I listen to other people, because I don't really tune into them, but when I listen to other people, spiritual channels, it sounds like these celebrities have already left their body and something else has taken over. That's what it sounds like when I listen to these people. So at this point, those particular celebrities are actually puppets at this point because their body, their shell is just being used. They're gone. I think it sounds like it. From what I hear, that's what it sounds like. But I just say when I call them puppets, I don't want to get them a pass and not just say what it is. At some point in their life, they probably were able to make a conscious decision, and they chose to go with what sounded good. Okay, they chose to go with what sounded good. But I want to say this. About this saying that a lot of people say that this is the direction, even I hear spiritual people say this. This is the direction we're headed in. This is the direction we're going in. Why does it have to be the direction you're going in if it's not the direction you want to go in? Why can't you, and when I say why can't you, I'm not going after the people that's been saying this. I'm just kind of saying in general, even speaking for myself, but I realize it takes work because this is not something I put effort into it, but not as much as I should have. At this point, it requires a whole lot to the point where you're not even a human being anymore, right? That's how much effort it takes to the point where you can survive without eating food and just be purely spirit and not need food. This is what I'm talking about right now, with the direction that I need to go. Okay, I don't know about everybody else. Okay, but yeah, why does it have to be, oh, this is where we're going? Why does it have to be where you're going? Why do you have to go where Hollywood decides that you go? You see they're evil. You see they just do things that's just you do not agree with. And in your opinion, they're evil, right? In their opinion, they're not evil, but at the same time, you do the same thing to them as they do to somebody else, they'll think you evil. So in their eyes, what they do is innocent, but you do the exact thing they do to you, you do that to them, then they won't like it. So, a lot of people are very self-centered like that. But so, if you don't like what you see and you feel like it's evil and it's not something you agree with, it's not something you want to raise your family in, or it's not a particular timeline or reality that you want to be taken to, then why does it have to be where you're going? Because you have certain people in power, because you have certain politicians, because you have a president, because you have what people like to call the government, or just Hollywood, or because people got money to make movies, and they decide to put something in a certain movie, and because they got the money, or Disney or Netflix or whatever, just the award shows, whether it's MTV, BET, the Academy Awards, the Oscars, whatever it is, I see people are like the Pharisees, and I'm just going off of just observing, not trying to, not trying to judge. People almost it's like the Pharisees. You look at the people who seem to got to have the money and the power, and the only reason why they have the power is because they have money, because they shouldn't have more magical powers than you. They just know how to use it a little better, because most people have not accessed their own power. That's the only reason why those folks have an advantage. And because you see money makes it look like they have more power, because people have not accessed enough inner power. They have not accessed enough inner power to usurp the money aspect. Okay, so the money is still ruling, because a lot of people, and I'm working on myself as well, a lot of people have not accessed enough of their inner power to usurp these entities that use money as power and use it to bully everybody else, right? Or just have not usurped money, period. Okay, or the way it's used anyway, right? So, yeah, and so, you see things happening, you see an agenda, just certain agendas happening, and then you say, oh, so this is where we're going. And I really don't understand why spiritual people say that, but then again, I don't have their mind, right? I don't have their mind, okay? Because even though they might be spiritual and practice spirituality and have clients or whatever, that doesn't mean you know exactly how they think. Okay, and whatever spirituality they're practicing for some reason doesn't give them the understanding to know that they don't have to go where Hollywood is trying to take everybody, right? But then again, sometimes when you are by yourself and you see that the majority of the crowd is going along with wherever Hollywood and the politicians and people say, and they are not using their own spiritual power, but you're letting somebody else control them, and then you and maybe one or two people are the only ones that can see that this ain't right, then it makes you feel kind of hopeless, like, well, this is what's happening. But at the same time, not really, because here's what I got to say about that. Who said you got to live in the United States of America? Who said you got to live there? And even if you do live in the United States of America, who say that you and some family or 2 or 3 other people or whatever, whoever, can't go to a remote area, grow your own garden, get rid of TV. See, I think the thing is people still like to look at TV, and people don't like what they see on TV or just media altogether, right? Social media. A lot of people don't like what they see, so they want things to change on social media or popular TV or popular stuff on the internet. And because they don't see that change, they feel like they have to go in that direction too. But really, what it really takes is that you have to have enough nerve to separate. And separate might not necessarily mean moving out your place. Because truth be told, a lot of things that people talk about, I'm not even aware of. Like this new stuff that's going around, I don't become aware of it until I have to engage and it affects me. So like if I'm living in a city, right, and these whatever new mandates come out, well, because I live in the city, it's going to automatically affect me. So that's when it does affect your world, because everybody else kind of goes along with it. So you're stuck with all the mandates and the rules, especially if you're in the city. Or even if you're in the country. Some stores, even because I lived in the country part of California too. It's called Yucca Valley. And I still lived in those areas where they went along too. So it's not always about the city. Okay, if you got people that just want to go along with stuff, right? Some people just want to go along with stuff, right? But with that being said, the only time I see what's going on is because of certain things that I have to abide by in the cities and when I go in stores. But what it is that might not even have to be either as I'm talking, because this is what I do. I come up with things as I'm talking. Even as I'm talking, maybe that don't have to be, because I'm still working on perfecting knowledge of self, right? Perfecting knowledge of self. And that might not need to be in your universe. You don't have to be on that timeline if you don't want to be. Okay, because if you're on a timeline that's been created by somebody else, then you're constantly going to see this stuff going on with all this stuff they're trying to push out there, with mandates and stuff. But I'm just thinking, if you know how to create your own universe and you get perfect self and perfect knowledge of self enough to the point where you just create your own universe regardless of what your eyes are currently seeing, regardless of what your perception already is, but you are aware that what you seeing, even if you live in New York City or live in Los Angeles where a lot of things happen, right? Even if you live in those areas where they like to push the most agendas, even if most of the people want to agree with whatever agenda is being pushed because they just want to go along and get along, and then most of them not in their bodies anymore anyway, well, I really feel like and most people can't do this because most people have not perfected self. They just haven't. I don't care how much spirituality or black magic they practice. A lot of people have not mastered self. I really feel like even if you live in those areas where things are currently happening, if you have a higher, sorry about that, it's a truck passing. If you have a higher way of seeing reality and you have a higher perception of reality, and of course, it's still going to take practice and work, and the results might take a while to be seen. But you constantly practice on it like you're studying for a final exam. But in this case, it needs to be done all the time, not just for one particular event, right? Eventually, you're going to see the fruits of your labor, constantly working on yourself, and then you'll be able to change that reality. That's just what I'm thinking. So it's not always, to me, it's not always about moving somewhere different. To me, it's not always about moving somewhere different because it's your universe, right? It's your universe. So whatever you don't like in your universe, even though it will take a lot of work because it's something that hasn't been done too often, if it's your universe, that means LA can change. That means wherever you are can change, right? New York can change because it's your universe. It doesn't belong to, it's yours, right? But we see what we see because a lot of us don't understand how to really get to that level of power. Where you see something that happened in LA and New York and other big cities and around the world, with all this stuff that they're trying to push right now, and it's almost like there's too many people agreeing to it. Because I think what we're thinking right now is that too many people are agreeing to it, and so it's kind of hard. And that could make it harder because unity helps a lot, right? Unity does help. But I do feel like this: if you truly master self, and master your own universe, and really understand how to adjust things in your own universe according to what you want and not what anybody else what other rules that somebody else want to put on you. I think that it's going to be like that, but it takes, like I say, a lot of work. A whole lot. I'm going to tell you what I think it takes more than anything, and what I've been working on, and what I have to continue to work on. It takes more confidence than anything in the world. I know you got to have high self-esteem and all this stuff. It takes more confidence, to me, from my experience and what I have to keep dealing with every day. It takes more confidence, more than anything in the world, to understand that it doesn't matter if everybody else keep going along with an agenda. Because you are the only one in your world, to be honest with you, and all of those other people are participants of your world. So if you're the only one in your world, you should be the master of your universe, because the rest of these people are participants. Then what difference does it make what agenda they go along with? It's your universe. It's my universe, right? I don't have to, if I don't want to see that, I can choose not to see it. And with everybody else being participants, I'm not necessarily in their conscious awareness. Even if it's a person I talk to like on a daily basis, whether I'm at work or whatever I'm doing, their conscious awareness might not be where I am, where my conscious awareness is. That's why you got participants in your universe, but their conscious awareness really might not be there. So a lot of people that's in your universe are just AI controlled. They're robots, right? Because many of them, their conscious awareness is not where yours is just because you see them. Their conscious awareness might be somewhere else, or they might not even be alive. Okay, we're in a kind of a virtual reality, or some people might call it a holographic world. Okay, so that's what I'm saying is that. But you got to master that's why I say you got to master your universe. You got to master it. And so I'm not one to say that it can't be done, because I haven't put in enough work. And I don't have enough knowledge of it to say what can't be done, okay? Even if you don't know about anybody else who was able to change their whole world around them, even if it looked like turmoil where they live, it can look like a bunch of turmoil, it can look like wars, and even if you haven't heard the story of somebody able to completely change their whole universe without moving and all that stuff went away, somebody probably did it, but I haven't heard of it because I don't know everybody. Oh, trucks again. There's a lot of trucks around this way. But somebody probably did it, but because I don't know everybody in the world, I haven't heard of it, right? So a lot of people like to say, well, ain't nobody doing this. How you know? Have you met every single person in the world? I just say that because I don't know everybody in the world. Even if I did know everybody in the world, I don't know what they do with their personal life. But yeah, that's all I want to talk about. And I'm not going to stay on long. I just want to say, when people say this is the direction we're heading in, and I have to question, why do you have to accept that direction? I have to question that. Because it's Hollywood, because it's the president. And then, that means you kind of give up your own power. You give up your own inner power and say because of their position, because of their status in your universe, they're more powerful than you. They're more powerful than you in your own universe, right? So it's right now they seem more powerful because most of us have not put the work in. Most of us have just went to work, or even if we own a business, we still doing things their way, right? We're still in a construct they created, and we're just adjusting in it, whether we have our own business or not. Or what else? Or whatever else it is, we still pay taxes and stuff. Unless you just like doing those things. In some kind of way, we've given our power away, thinking that they are more powerful because this is a world that we have been born into, and because this is the only world that we know, we think these other entities that keep wanting to control it have all the power because we kept giving it away. Okay, we never try to take it back. You just try to adjust in whatever they try to create. You just try to adjust, but you never try to take your power back and create your own world. And I'm talking about myself too. Okay, so with that being said, that'll be it, and I'll talk later.